Hey guys, you seem to really enjoy the walkthroughs that I have done for you all for the last video that we did. So I thought I would take you through another game of me playing RMP, which is not the best comp in the world, but it's kind of like making us rise. We're about at 2300 MMR, and we're going to be walking you through what is seemingly like the counter to RMP or mages in general, which is Warlock and Resto Shaman, and even Feral Druid can be qualified as something like that because Feral Druid, Warlock, and Shaman all have ranged interrupts. And what do I mean by that is like the wind shear ability, the spell lock ability, the Grimoire of, I can't remember which Grimoire it is, but the one that makes it so that you can actually interrupt twice in a row as a Warlock, and also what's it called, the Feral Rush or whatever, Skull Bash. That's it. Skull Bash by the Feral Druids means that they have 4 interrupts at their disposal, on top of grounding, on top of maim, on top of fear spamming. There's so many things to disrupt a mage, and I want to walk you through this game because this is like a counter, and I think that it's cool and maybe can help you guys to learn how to deal with counters and deal with this really popular comp as a mage in general, since we have to do so much casting and deal with all those interrupts. So as we're walking into this arena, as you can see, I'm in invisibility. My rogue is trying to land a sap right now, but right at this point, this is really important. So we see that the Restoration Shaman is playing his permanent link totem. So this is an honor talent that allows the Restoration Shamans to put up a 20-second buff. That means that they split all damage with the teammates within like 8 yards of each other. And it's a 20-second buff with a 30-second cooldown. So that means that there's 10 seconds of downtime in between you and that like small window that you have in order to like land CC on the Shaman, because how it works is that Spirit Link Totem will break all CC in between the target. So if he's standing next to the Warlock and I polymorph the Shaman and then I damage the Warlock, that will break that polymorph, which means that CC is pretty much impossible to land until that buff goes down. So we kind of retreat a little bit. We want to wait out that buff and chill and make sure that we're getting that correct. So as you can see, I'm just going to start building up my Glacial Spike. What's really important here is that the buff is actually going to be falling in about 7 seconds or so, and since I have Omnibar, I'm able to track the enemy interrupts from like when this Warlock used his interrupt. He actually spell locked my Priest, so that means that I can pretty much cast Polymorph. I'm not going to be interrupted by the Warlock, which is really, really important. Because what we can do is we can actually cheap shot the Shaman, and then I can polymorph him, and it's up to really just the Feral to interrupt me, or the Destruction Warlock to use his big cooldown to interrupt me on that point. So what we do here is we wait for that buff. I get my Glacial Spikes rolling. As you can see, that Spirit Link buff is falling down. I have a Glacial Spike pretty much ready to go, and we're going to be cheap shotting the Shaman here. He's not going to be able to stop me. He's not going to be able to Wind Shear or Grounding Totem, and then I open up with my Ice Form, my Ice Nova, and we immediately get the Unbreakable Will and the Dark Pact from the enemy Warlock, which means that he's popping all his defenses because he knows that he's screwed, and we got a really nice setup on that Shaman. And you can also see that my Priest friend is going to be running over towards the Shaman so that he can get that Psychic Scream Fear, hopefully on the Feral and also the rest of Shaman for sure. So he does end up getting that Fear, I think. Yeah, he does. Right now he gets it. So what we're kind of dealing with right now is the fact that like he's on diminishing returns, so we can no longer polymorph the rest of Shaman. The fears are going to be running out soon, and our target has already used all of his defensive cooldowns that we were trying to get out of him. So we're kind of just waiting, and that Spirit Link Totem, that permanent Spirit Link Totem, is up again on the enemy Warlock, so we're not going to be damaging the Warlock, which means that we're going to be switching to the Feral Druid here and trying to land a kill on him. So we can get him down to 50%. Sativ ends up doing a lot of damage, and that's really helpful. But the problem is that like as a mage, you're so disrupted, you can't land cast ever. So I was like maimed. Now he just feral charged me and then skull bashed me. And at the same time, like the Warlock still has spell lock. He still has his extra spell lock, and then the Shaman still has his wind shear. So it's really hard to like land cast as a Frost Mage right now against this kind of comp, which is like why it's a counter. I'm able to get that Glacial Spike off, and this is a really important play. My rogue friend just communicated that he stunned the rest of Shaman, so this means that I can sheep him if I can LOS the enemy team. As you can see, the Warlock and the Feral Druid over here, so they cannot interrupt me. The rest of Shaman is actually stunned, so he can't Wind Shear or Grounding Totem, which leaves me for a free polymorph that I'm able to land on the rest of Shaman for a full amount, and we end up forcing out the Restoration Shaman's Trinket. And since he's playing that permanent Spirit Link Totem talent that we're able to recognize, we know that he doesn't have Spirit Link Totem, so that means that he's out of defenses at this point. He has sentences, he doesn't have trinkets, so all we have to do is survive until those diminishing returns are back. We can set up again with another sheep or a blind or whatever it is, and then we can land a kill on the Feral Druid because he has nothing left. He has no more walls. And what I mean by wall is he doesn't have a survival instincts, which is like his defensive cooldown. So he's pretty much out of everything. All we need to do is survive. And as you can see, I'm playing a little bit defensively. I'm trying to live. I'm trying to stop the Warlock. I'm slowing the Warlock. I'm sheeping him, doing whatever I can. And we already blinded the Resto Shaman at the same time. So I sheeped the Warlock. He was able to get out of it. And we had a blind rolling on the Restoration Shaman. Unfortunately, I didn't follow up. I think that was kind of a misplay on my part. I probably should have followed up with a polymorph before that blind ended on the Restoration Shaman. But I did land a 1 million Glacial Spike followed up by like an 800,000 Shatter combo, which is really, really big for our team. And pretty much right now we're trying to find ways to stop the Shaman from casting, stop the Shaman from allowing him to recover. And that's really, really hard right there. So as you can see, I actually have Counterspell up and the Restoration Shaman on my focus target. I am able to land the interrupt there, but there was one healing surge before that where I could have actually CS'd him. I could have counterspelled him before that one right there. So I did misplay a little bit there. I definitely can get better in that regard. But I'm just trying to point out my mistakes as well so you can learn from what I'm doing wrong. The Spirit Link totem buff falls off right here, so this means that I can actually sheep the Restoration Shaman if I can somehow land it. And it's like really hard to do because they have pretty much all their interrupts up, but I'm trying to do damage as much as I can because I know that they want to counterspell, they want to spell lock and stop me from casting polymorph right here. But even though like as you can see I'm feared, there's nothing I can really do about that, but I'm immune to fear right now, so I actually blink in and ice flows and polymorph and try to catch them off guard with that polymorph, and I end up getting it, which is really, really fortunate for me because that doesn't happen in many situations, but it happened in like the best situation. I counterspelled the enemy Destruction Warlock on his Chaos Bolt, so he wouldn't be able to counter pressure us and stop me from casting. And then I'm also casting polymorph on the Restoration Shaman again so that we can get that half duration polymorph, and I'm able to finish off with this Glacial Spike here and pretty much just finish off the kill right there with a Shatter combo for about 500,000. And we also got a Psychic Scream to follow up my half sheep. It's all about rolling all together that CC at the same time and landing a kill in that amount of time. But as you can see, like the Feral Druid does go down here. We are able to make sure that kill happens. All pretty calculated. I was able to land a really nice sheep and just keep the pressure rolling. Sativ did a lot of damage, and he was able to start all of our CC chains with his blinds, which was really, really helpful because Outlaw Rogues are able to do that right now. So that's pretty much it for today, guys. I hope you did enjoy this video. If you did, be sure to give a big thumbs up and show the support for this series. This is something new that I'm doing, but you seem to really enjoy it. I got a really positive feedback from my last video, the first one that I did of this. So you know, that's really all I have for you. So thank you so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't already, and I will keep you updated as these videos go out as long as you're subscribed. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.